Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975. Be advised that notice of this meeting is made by posting on the bulletin board, town hall, and sending to the officially designated newspaper a list of meeting dates annually, indicating that a meeting would take place at the community center at 7 p.m. on this date. The fire exits are located in the far right corner in the back and to my immediate left in the front. Can anyone stand for the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Real quick before we get into the first item on our agenda, I just want to say real briefly, I just want to thank all of you sitting up here for once again returning to the rec committee. I think this committee, in my very biased opinion, is one of the best in town. You guys do a lot, and you're always there when we need you, and you guys put in your time and effort every year in and year out, and keep coming back, and I truly appreciate that, and I thank you all once again for starting off 2025 with me again and with the town, and thank you. And I mean it, I really do appreciate it. First item of business, so the election of chairperson for 2025. Dee has been our chairperson for 2 years. I haven't talked to her whether she'd like to continue or not. But is anyone else interested in that position, or do we like to see Dee? What do you guys want? How do you feel?
If you want a break.
Just how Dee feels.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine.
Fine?
Yeah.
Anybody else interested in the position?
I mean, if she wants a break, I'd be interested in it, but she does a great job, so keep it as is. Put me on the back burner just in case.
I got it, I appreciate it.
When I storm out, it's all gone.
Got it. Can I have a motion then to accept Dee as a chairperson for 2025?
John Bryan, motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Dee. Next up, I have to read the meeting dates for 2025. January 28th, February 25th, March 25th, April 22nd, May 27th, June 24th, July 22nd, August 26th, September 23rd, October 28th, and November 25th. December we have no meeting, and our January reorg meeting is January 27th, 2026. I do have one thing to bring up as far as this goes, and I don't know the answer. I want to throw it back to you guys. September 23rd, our September meeting, is Rosh Hashanah. I don't know how you guys want to handle it. It's obviously one of our more important meetings that month. We can move it if we feel that's appropriate. I don't know the answer here.
Could we wait until closer, like maybe discuss it at our, or do we have to make that move now if we're going?
It would be better if we could make that decision now. So the decision would be either just hold it as is, cancel it altogether, or move it to another available date.
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
It's a bad one. I mean, I personally don't acknowledge, not that I don't acknowledge, I don't,
Celebrate first.
yeah.
I'm okay with sticking with it or moving it to a different date.
Yeah.
So-
Is the town open that day? Is the town business offices open that day?
What's the date? Yes.
Rosh Hashanah,
Yes.
September.
The only thing I think is school, Morris Hills.
Yeah.
School is closed that day,
Yeah.
the high school.
I mean, I'd say it as is unless there's.
Do you all agree to keep it then, as is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we will keep that meeting as is. If anything changes, we can change it if
Mhm.
something comes up. All right, thank you. Correspondence, I have none. Public session, I see we have a few in the audience. Would anyone like to speak? Feel free.
I spoke last week.
At the council meeting.
Yeah.
Would you like to summarize or say anything else?
Would you like me to read my letter? I actually have it in my ballot. Our mayor has already heard it, but let's see.
Twice as nice.
couple days, I don't know, these might stop. I also have my daughter's letter too.
And I just need, name and address for the
Carrie
record.
Crone, 7 Duncan Lane. I'm here to advocate for the Park Lake Sharks. So, my name is Carrie Crone and I've been a resident of Rockaway Borough since 2010. My husband and I picked this town for its proximity to family and work, but stayed for its small town sense of community. Over the years, our children have always benefited greatly from some of the borough's small businesses and recreation sports. But in June 2023, we decided to follow a friend's recommendation and enroll our children in the Park Lake Sharks. This was one of the best recommendations received and one of the best decisions we made. Our children had no lake swimming experience and no formal swim lessons prior to enrolling. While they were initially intimidated by the thought of swimming in nature, they quickly acclimated thanks to the support, knowledge, and encouragement of their coaches and teammates. Unlike most sports which are competitive and intense in nature, the Park Lake Sharks operate as a family, encouraging each swimmer as if they are future Olympians. I watched my children grow in confidence and ability these past 2 seasons. My daughter was so excited to watch swimming at the 2024 Paris Olympics and see Katie Ledecky bring home another gold medal. One of the unique aspects of the Sharks is that they require a lot of parental involvement where everyone supports each other. In a time when the culture of rec sports consists of parents sitting on the sidelines, choosing only to participate when the ref makes a call that is not in their favor, the Sharks' parents are officiating, timing races, recording times, announcing races, and selling snacks. It is very humbling, but also a lot of fun. The Sharks best resemble the sense of community that I love in our small town. My only regret is that we waited so long to take a chance on the Park Lake Sharks. I want to thank Coach Rosalie, Coach D, Coach Shallon, our Mayor and Town Council, Parks and Recreation Department, our sponsors, and all other individuals involved in making our amazing team happen. I sincerely appreciate that it is a huge undertaking to maintain the lake for our little team, but I assure you, your efforts are not wasted. You are contributing to building a child's confidence, creating a sense of community, and keeping that small town feeling alive, which is what I love most about this town. Thank you. And my daughter Riley also very bravely spoke up at the meeting last week. And I won't read her letter, but one of the things she shared is how she was very afraid to get in the lake. And I said to my kids, I'm like, this is a life skill. Like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna drown when you fall in a lake because you all of a sudden can't swim because there's wildlife around you? So it was a very important skill. She went to scout camp last summer. And she earned her swimming merit badge at the age of 10. Nobody does that. She swam better than all the other kids in her troop. I mean, she got out there for the swim test, and they're like, oh, Riley's gonna kick our butts. She just took off because of the Park Lake Sharks. I am so grateful for this program, and I am proud to advocate for it. So
No,
thank you.
and I thank you, that was a tremendous letter, and I did hear about Riley's, night, and I'm so proud of her.
Little Riley, right? Little
Yeah,
Riley.
yeah, not so little, but, you know, and I appreciate, and you guys, your family being involved not only in Park Lake, but soccer and everything else, so thank you, and I do understand, and it's heartfelt, we all feel the same way, and we can discuss it, in a minute, but I wanted to open it up to anybody else in the public that would like to speak.
Well, I'm always eager to learn about anything going on in the lake, you know, and,
Yeah.
so that's kind of why I'm here tonight. I will share, I do feel your plight. I spent some time Monday doing some researching, and I read the entire water report from the Township of Rockaway that's on the website. So, just my own personal opinion, after reading all that data, there's things that can be done, but you're just up against septic systems in an urban area that can't get solved here. You know, so I don't know. I feel for both sides, but I actually, my own personal opinion is like it's just a resolution for bacteria almost is out of the control of everybody in the borough. You know, that would significantly impact it. You know, it's just urban. So that's just a personal opinion. I figured I'd share.
No, and I'm glad you read that, and I'll be posting the 2024 report soon. I think that was a 2023.
Yeah, it was 2022, but I was telling.
Yeah, it is, and it's more of the same idea there, where the lake is in the middle of a bunch of houses and developments that weren't there years ago that are there now. do cause runoff into the lake, unfortunately. And it is a struggle, as the swim team people know. But getting back to Carrie's point is, you know, I think all of us sitting up here at one point or another were involved in the Sharks in some way or form, whether it's their kids swimming or being in charge of lifeguards, whatever the case may be. We have 2 people that are currently on the board or so we understand, Park Sharks have been a big part of this community for a long time. And it's a tough situation for us all. There's no easy answer here, right? So from what I understand, the conversation is we're here because last year, I had asked for another year, for the swim team to continue, because you had gotten at that point sponsors and you were ready for the season, and the mayor and council, you know, gladly agreed. They said no problem. So now we're here a year later, kind of in the same boat. What do we do now? So that's where we're at. I think from what I understand, I don't see the beach itself being open this year. I can't say that definite one way or another, but that's probably the way it's going to happen. As far as the swim team itself, is there a possibility of us maybe exploring or having the swim team explore somehow just getting lifeguards for that time when the swim team's there and just to have the swim team? I don't know if that's a possibility or something that, you know, the council would be amenable to, but that's a thought of somehow managing that. Do you have any discussion on that, or how you feel about that, or how that would look or work?
My daughter, Lily, who lifeguards, you know, my kids didn't spend much time on the Sharks, but they did enjoy when they weren't, Lily at least. And she lifeguards, and she hopes to see the team have a lake to swim in. So, my question would be is how would we have open water, like a beach, and what would our position be as a town if people were to go in the lake unsupervised? Like, not that they go, that would be the irony, is we don't have lifeguards and then people decide to go swimming in the lake. Like, would there be no swimming signs posted everywhere?
Yeah.
If the beach were to not be,
Yeah.
okay.
It's the same way it is now. I mean, there's
So like we would
Just
be
like
no.
the beach is closed.
No, I understand, I'm just thinking, like, I wonder how that would, you know, people have a problem with the lake closing, but now the lake would be closed. How would that work?
No, I mean, the beach is gonna be maintained,
Yeah, oh, I
we
would
have
imagine.
thoughts of, lessening the sand. Right now, it looks like Wild and Crespi, you know, it's,
Yeah.
it's some things need to be done there, which, you know, we've talked about. I think, some work we'll see get started, you know, this year, minimizing the beach. But as far as, you know, no swimming signs, things like
Yeah.
that, but as Priscilla mentioned, you know, water quality is definitely, one of the factors,
Yeah.
probably the major factor in, closing the beach. It's not closed all the time, it's off and on, but we'll just have to continue to monitor the quality of the water if the swim team does continue to, do that. And I think, you know, Rob had mentioned the need for lifeguards when kids are the swimmers are in the water.
Yeah.
To watch. So that could, you know, if we could find 1 or 2 people that are committed, or at least 2 people, I think you said, you know, committed to
Leo.
being there, during the swim team meets, it might be something that we'll be able to,
Yeah, I think we have enough lifeguards.
I mean, my daughters, they swam from 3rd grade to, I don't even know how old they were when they stopped, and we grew up at the lake, and they both worked there doing lifeguarding for you, Gabby worked the snack stand, and that was always our thing. September to June was softball, but our summer belonged to Sharks. That was always our summer family.
Yeah, and listen, you know.
So I'm pro Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us who've ever experienced one of those meets, it's cool, you know, there's a ton of people there, it's an exciting time, and like Carrie said, you know, you still have parents out there volunteering, doing a lot of work. Like, I think I saw John his first day, he was timing or something, you were like, you didn't know, what am I doing, you know, so, It's a family, like, Carrie said it is, and we all appreciate it, and I think we can have this conversation with the mayor and council, or I can, but at the appropriate time and see what we can do. But what I need from you guys is, and as quickly as possible, is to get me definite, I need definite, so I need to go in with that, hey, we are secure with lifeguards.
Oh, yeah, we are, well.
Well, I know she would need to be recertified,
So
Yeah.
is Leah,
and so
Yeah.
does
she
Lisa.
was planning on it anyway.
Dylan should be good, right, it's 2 years?
She
Dylan,
got it when
Is it
Lily
2
got
years?
it.
yes.
Yeah, she,
Dylan just got it last summer.
oh, she did, okay,
Dylan
so
was
she
really
had it.
So she's good for another year. Now obviously keep in mind now, you're talking, what, it's an hour a week?
I did the calculation, cause, I got hopeful feedback from the councilman at the end of the session. Councilman Carly suggested I come up with the hours needed of the lifeguards, so we have an idea of what is needed. So we have 23 hours of practice, that's in the total span of the season, cause it's 1 hour practice. And we always use 2 lifeguards per practice, and 2 lifeguards also at the meets. Each home meet, which we only have 3 this year.
Okay, cause last year we had what, 5, 6?
Yeah, because they had to recalculate away and home. We have Roxbury, but we never host them. They're just too big, so we always go to them. So it's only 3 home meets. I calculated around 3 hours each meet, just because they have to warm up for 3 hours. So between 2.5 hours, 3 hours, that's 9 hour total. So that was around 30 to 35 hours. I left a little wiggle room, times 2 lifeguards.
Okay. That's great information, thank you.
And I do have the calendar for this year too, so.
Terrific.
And one more thing.
Sure.
Didn't we discover last year that they were testing the lanes and the beach, which they weren't doing in the past?
Yeah.
And the lanes were coming back okay, or better than the beach? In some circumstances?
So, yes, what changed, the only thing that changed is, so they test 3 areas, they test the inlet coming in on the township side, they test the lanes, and they test, the beach area. That's done once a week by the health department.
Yeah.
What changed, we got further clarification, what was happening is, if one area, let's say the inlet failed, the whole lake would have to close. That was the going, standard that we were going by. There was further clarification where that wasn't the case, only the section that failed would have to close. So to your point, there were times where the beach area failed, the lanes did not, therefore the lanes couldn't stay open, hence the reason swim team could have practice. So yes, that is correct. But there was times too the lanes failed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but more often than not, I would say the lanes were clearer than the beach area, yes. The inlet almost always failed. If so, that is, like we do every year. It's, if we were to be open this year, that's something we deal with, and Dee and Rosalie know this very well. Like, they get the call from me on 2 o'clock on Thursday, we know the drill, and then we can't go back in until it's retested and it comes back clear. So that's just something that we deal with, summer after summer anyway, so that won't change too much.
The original test is on Thursdays?
It's on Wednesdays, we get it Thursday. So the only other thing is the mayor mentioned that, we would still have to, so that's one part of the testing of the lake, with the health department, that's regulatory, that's state mandated. The other part, which Priscilla mentioned, is the outside company we have come in, to do more in-depth testing. They're not necessarily testing, bacteria levels like the health department, but they're testing weed growth, algae blooms, stuff like that, water depth quality, temperature differences, you know, they're going more in depth on what, and that gives us a better idea exactly what, as Priscilla said, what's going on at that lake with things coming in from out. So that would obviously have to continue, as well as the third company that comes in and specifically they're there to treat, to keep the nuisance vegetation down. That obviously becomes a bigger problem in the swim lanes, with kids getting caught up in, certain vegetation in there. And we do spray, we have a company that sprays to keep that vegetation down, all approved obviously by the DPD, you know, so forth and so on. So safe chemicals, you can be in there to swim. So that would have to continue as well. So these are things that I'll discuss, with the mayor and council, and, we'll take it from there. I do appreciate, you know, you guys, you know, coming in and speaking to the council last Thursday. And like I said, we do understand the love for the Sharks, and we'll see what happens.
Right, the intent was never to shut down the
Right.
Sharks, you know, it was possibly looking for other locations to, you know, host the meet, whether it's at Mount Hope or, you know, whatever the case was. So the intent was never to shut it down, it was just to make sure that, you know, have you guys swim in a safe environment.
We've just experienced for a long time that nobody will allow us to, during COVID, after COVID.
Considering.
Hmm?
Hope is actually considering. Was talking about moving the next day. They said, what did he say, $75 a day to the operating cost, which is the reason they're being hesitant. Is how much it adds for them. We talked about.
So the first option is to keep it as is.
Right.
I'm holding my breath since people have said, yeah, and then at the last minute, when we needed a place to go, they always said, no.
We'll see what happens.
Is this a possibility to put on the docks?
I don't know, I'd have to get, you know, the biggest issue over there is without, and I have looked into aerating and so forth, and I don't see, we have a lot of projects going on at the lake, especially this summer, which I'll get into in a minute, but aerating probably wouldn't be a priority, only because, we're really just shooting ourselves in the foot, because we could do this all day, but if the stuff keeps coming in and the surrounding areas aren't being taken care of like they should have, we're just basically running in circles, spending the money on something like that may or may not help.
Yeah, but like an ecosystem reacts to change. So either you don't know until you try it. If you don't do anything about it, it's not going to change.
You're right, and I think the struggle with some of these aeration type things, it's a lot more in depth than you would think, mainly because of the electricity portion of it. It's not like you can run an extension cord to the.
Are the lights getting redone?
That's way down the road. But, the electricity part of it is very difficult. When you're dealing with water and electricity, it's a whole nother ballgame. And the maintaining of that. In other words, you don't just put in the water and it just makes itself, you know, we have to have people go down there, clean it, clean the filters and all that. So there's a lot more into it than just sticking some in the water and hope it goes. But we will be looking at some projects down there, we'll talk about in a minute. Is there anything else on this before I bring it to the mayor and council?
I'm obviously biased, but Liam's right behind Riley there, and going with the Sharks, so anything you can do to keep that alive.
Same thing. I wonder, could we do some sort of like agitator or some like water flow to kind of like recirculate that swim area only? If
Yeah.
you close the beach, have something that, I don't know anything about it, but the one lake that we have the meets at all the time, that has the bubbles that come up.
Randolph.
Yeah,
They're so
they were talking about, like, somebody was talking about, it's like an agitator, and it keeps down the vegetation. I don't know if that's like an option, if we, close the beach,
options, there's different ones.
But if we close the beach and leave the swim lanes open, isn't it gonna cause like a whole thing of people thinking we're letting kids swim in a dirty lake?
They already think that.
But that's what I
They think
mean,
the
they
other
already
way.
think it, we have to
Nobody's-
close the beach because it's got bacteria in it, and we leave the swim lanes open, our people are gonna be like, oh, they're letting them swim in a lake with bacteria.
Well, I mean, you got the test to prove that it's not, it's just word of mouth, it's negative.
Remember that guy that flipped out because the sign was up on the beach and it said no swimming because it had failed, and then was like yelling because we were letting the kids swim in the swim lanes, and we're like, no, these are clean,
I
he's
mean,
like,
my
it's all the
girls are
same
the
water.
oldest, that's why I'm in the lake, we're good.
I swim and I'm thinking I'm.
Oh, there you go.
You're
slightly
still
older,
just
just
a little bit.
Different times, people like doing
Well, I think-
different thing to.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, that's just something we have to deal with. I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, if we're doing the right thing, there's no reason that, I mean, it's a fair point, obviously, but if we're doing the right thing and we're getting tested and we have everything that, we're doing everything right, then,
I mean, just
that's
to
it.
clarify, maybe I'm wrong, but not opening the beach is not only water quality. There's other factors there too, correct? Like financial and the amount, like keeping it running, so it's not just, we're not saying you can't swim here because the water's dirty, but over there it's fine. There would be
That's
other
what people
factors
do on
into it.
Facebook.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I understand that, but from our standpoint, it's just a matter of being fully transparent into the reasons why you can't swim here and why you can swim there. People are gonna say what they wanna say on Facebook.
Warriors are crazy.
Well, yeah, but it's not gonna matter. We could drain the lake, put crystal clear spring water in there, chlorinated, and people are still gonna have something to complain about because that's just what people do. I deal with it every day at work. I'm just saying, I think, just to aid a little bit in what you're saying, just full transparency from the town and the council as to exactly why this area is closed but this area is open might help some of that.
We're trying to find a solution here. I mean, we could shut down the whole lake, and that doesn't help anybody, so we're trying to find options here to keep the parks swimming open.
Testing can always be posted by the docks, like where the swimming area is. I mean,
Yeah, it's supply and demand, there's not enough people swimming in the beach either, that's it.
Mhm.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
See, there's no people swimming, so why are we paying lifeguards as a town to lifeguard a beach that nobody's swimming in? So,
I mean, just from what I've been on this committee for quite a long time, I think you and I are the OGs at this point. I've been here for a long time, so I've been through 3 rec directors, and this has always been a conversation. My point is, like what Christine was saying, it's not, if we're closing the beach and allowing the swim team to run, closing the beach is not only water quality, there's a
Yeah.
whole list of reasons.
yeah, not just.
So when
water
people
quality.
say, well, how come they can swim there but I can't swim here? Well, because it's not cost effective to hire lifeguards to work the beach every single day. It's not, that's what I'm saying, and I think by being fully transparent with that, it might help a little bit with some
The
of that.
the water quality debate.
I think,
Makes sense.
yeah, and I think, let's be honest, when you go down there and more so at the beach, and there's just mounds and mounds of goose species all over the place, it's not inviting places anywhere. So I think people are starting to realize that, it's not necessarily the best place to swim. I think it's been like this for quite some time, longer than I think we all realize. And again, like I've said time and time again, I think things changed when Picatinny opened. I think a lot of people ended up going to open to the public, and I also.
Falls, yeah.
And Frog Falls, and I also think that, especially during COVID, a lot of people got pools. And I think that changed the dynamic, especially here in town. I mean, I can name 10 people that got pools, so I think that changed. And I also think kids are doing different things over the summer, and, swimming in the lake isn't one of them. And I can tell you, to be honest with you, you drive around Indian Lake, for example, you go there for the summer, there's nobody there. It's the same thing, it's not just us, like, it's not Park Lake and Rockaway Borough, it's other lakes are having the same exact issue. Some teams are doing well there, but you don't see mounds and mounds of people at Indian Lake on a beautiful summer day now. So I think it's a lake thing. I think people this generation of parents and kids are typically swimming in pools. That's just my thought, and that's where we're at. But to your point, and that's one of the reasons, you know, does it make sense to keep the beach open when that's happening? No. Combined with the water quality, it doesn't. All right, so moving on to the next item, just real quick, recap again, I want to thank you all. I think, our tree lighting was another huge success. I can't think of anything besides us having to get some more, and I will, get more, kettles and cookies. We did run out of everything, which is unbelievable. But other than that, I think it was well attended, and I think it's slowly still growing every year. I really like the red bows. I think it just adds a whole nother cool element to the whole thing. I guess from you guys, is there anything that you saw that we need to fix, tweak, add, subtract, whatever?
Switching the tables worked better.
It
Doing
did.
the hot chocolate in front of the cookies, it didn't hold it up like it did every other year.
Yep, that was a great idea. Again, the hot water issue, which we'll deal with, I will get more of those kettles. That was our probably biggest hurdle
I
there.
think John and I are ready to retire
From
from
stirring,
stirring.
yeah.
John's the system this year though.
John's
Yeah.
been the
I
star
was
the
the,
last
I was
time.
the chair and pouring, John's.
No, and again, that goes to one, you know, again, thank you for that. That's a cold
I'm gonna
night.
be on the wash pot because we do with Chris next year.
Yeah, Chris said.
Chris had a cushy job waiting for the light to come on.
Stop watching water flow.
No, it was fun.
Was Mark stirring? I didn't even see what he was doing over there.
Oh, we had a whole assembly line going. It was me, John, Mark.
I was like, you know, you don't have to be here, right?
I don't know, I was tearing packets and putting them in cups, and then John was filling the water, and Mark was stirring, and then I would stir. We had a whole system going, but we kept up.
And
We were ahead at one point. I was like, oh, we gotta slow down.
We were like,
on the
okay,
table.
stop.
Chris was
There's
like,
nobody's coming, it's gonna get cold.
And we had, we gotta thank, Mrs. Swannick for helping out as well.
Yeah,
She was with us.
very helpful.
She was
Yeah, she was starting too. Mark was monitoring the water levels too.
Oh,
When they
that's
got low, he was.
All right, so then-
We never got out.
So then, good, I'm glad that, I think we all agree that was another success. 2025 projects, so there's a lot going on, that are already in the works. The one thing is, that'll happen first, I'm working with, a borough Eagle Scout. They plan on starting, hopefully, at the end of February, beginning of March, weather dependent, repainting Smith Field. So that would be basically the last building that, we need to really address as far as paint. Donatoni obviously was done, so Smithfield's up next. So I'm looking forward to that project. Plan on doing kind of same kind of color scheme that we did at Donatoni, the darker blue with the white trim. So look forward to that at the end of February, March, hopefully get it in before opening day, if possible, we'll see. But that's an exciting project. Next project, and I'll kind of link this in with the hockey rink. So I am, hopefully 24 to 48 hours away from finishing up the grant application for the hockey rink. Again, there's no guarantees if we get it or not, but that project is hopefully slated to start moving this year, depending on how finances fall, depending on how much we can do. Obviously, the biggest needs are we have to repave it, you know, mill it, repave it, fix the boards that are currently surrounding it, whether it's with wooden boards or another type of board, and obviously fix the fencing, and possibly making it an oval if we can. So those things will be addressed this coming year. Also, projects regarding the lake, as the mayor stated, we're looking to shorten the beach, so it won't be as long. We have direction from our engineer as far as how far we can go with that. We'll plant grass and possibly shrubs and other stuff in that area. Also, I'm looking at ways to address the fence along Academy. The the struggle with that is that currently that fence is holding up a lot of sand. So we have to figure out a plan prior to doing any fence work. How do we deal with that sloping situation over there with 2 feet of sand and dirt, being held back by that fence. But that will be addressed this coming year. Also, there's talk about possibly getting, having our side of the lake only for this year repaved. Whatever we haven't, there's not much left on our side. And also replacing the benches as of right now on our side of the lake. So those projects are planned for 2025. Is there anything else you guys can think of that we need to address this coming year?
What was the verdict on the lights? I know the town had looked into at some point, getting an outlet on the post there, and then how did that research ever shake out?
So I think the plan is going to be eventually, I think we realized that that those lights are gonna need to be replaced at some point, and I think there's an effort to slowly put money away, the town slowly put money away to be able to help cover that cost.
Great.
With that being said, too, now that comes to mind is that I also met with a representative from Mike Sherrill's office regarding grants, and one of the things on that list was that I mentioned was possibly at Donatoni changing over those halogen lights to LEDs as part of an initiative for the environment, obviously cutting costs. So that may be something down the road that I look into as well as getting a grant for. It's a very expensive undertaking, but after those have been up there for 25 years now, and it takes a lot of energy to turn those on and off, and now everything's going to LEDs, so that's something that I may look at in the future. Next up is, I'll let Christina kind of talk about it a little bit. Little League, so Christina, if you wanna go ahead, and then I just have something to say about that.
Okay. I'm no longer the president of Little League, thankfully. We still don't know the fate of the league though. I still am on as the treasurer and the safety officer. Drew Walk is the president now, and the VP of baseball is, Rob Conley, and the VP of softball is Rob Petrucci. Andrea Condit is still on as secretary, so, the registration's up and running. We're just trying to, I took a big humongous step back, and I just kinda like let them all, go with it,
So first, thank you for all your years of dedication, and congratulations to the new guys, and obviously I'm here to support them, whatever they need. Obviously I have communication. I do have one ask, and I have no doubt that you'll take care of this. So one of the members is involved in now at a high level in 2 sports. I just wanna make sure that we are diligent about on bank accounts that there's multiple people on that account.
So, that's a great mention. Nobody wanted to step into the treasurer role. I'm already on the account. Jeff Hensel is on the account with me.
Okay.
Jeff Hensel is no longer, going to be involved. The issue we have is we use Santander, and it is the worst, because they want every person that's on the bank account present to do any changes on the bank account. So like when we did it with Jesse leaving, we all had to be there. Working with TD Bank up by the mall, at least one signer has to be there. If you're coming off the account, they just let you come off the account. No, just one signer on the account has to be present. You have to provide your minutes and your agenda, you know, for the incoming officers. So, right now, it's Jeff and I. Hensel's not like peace out, I'm not helping. He's just like me, you know, he realizes where he is and on the account. So it will be myself, Drew, and we're hopeful to get one of the other board members, so there'll be 3 signers on our account. I did not want to be the only, that's why Jeff Hensel came on. So we haven't had an actual treasurer. It's been basically, we don't really do much. We do you know, our registration has been paying for our uniforms. We have receipts for everything, so it's not like Dick's Sporting Goods usually gives us equipment. So we've been pretty good at not needing much. We did a photo night for the first time last year. We did it over at the Legion, so that was a lot of fun. But there's not much that we're doing where people are.
Yeah, no, and I understand it.
I'm all about what you're saying because of what happened with soccer.
And obviously,
So,
all these, you know, all the sports are required before they get any budget money from the town. They have to give the town bank statements before they get any budget money.
Okay.
So that's one of the checks and balances that we have in place already.
Mhm.
And then John, I could pretty much guarantee. I talked to the gentleman involved in basketball, and there is 3 signatures on that account.
Yeah.
So, again, I just want to reiterate.
Yeah. Oh
to make
no,
sure we're-
that was
as we
one of
make
the
changes.
first conversations that I brought up in our Zoom meeting, is that we need to get 2 more signers, because Jeff will be coming off. 2 more people need to come on.
So I'm assuming over the next month or so, those conversations will be happening as far as opening day, all that stuff. Obviously, I'm not gonna be handling that too much, but, so they need to know that they need to get that.
I think everybody's just nervous right now because the numbers aren't really coming in, and that's why I'm just like letting it go at the moment. It's a lot happening all at one time, so I will put it out there to Drew. And Andrea's great. She knows that these are dates that we need to have. We've been doing them at the Fireman's Field the last couple of years. That's been a great success. So I feel like that's going to continue on. But I think they're just worried about numbers right now. Because when we had our call, I feel like there was either 29 or 39 registrations.
And just keep in mind too, this year's a little different because Easter does fall late.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. So that's always what we consider when we do the opening day. So would it be the weekend going, it's a messed up time.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's a messed up time. And even school, I think the high school goes back to school the day after Easter, where usually we go into the Easter,
Correct.
and not this year. So, I will, make sure that I get all that.
Appreciate
But
it.
that's why it's a bigger thing than just changing the signers. We also are looking into changing the whole financial institution and moving it to a place where it's a little easier to navigate.
Just keep me posted.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for all you did to keep the league going all these years.
Yes.
You as well.
Thank
You know,
The
thank
league
you.
holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So,
My mother would be playing at Montclair if it wasn't for us.
Your work is very much appreciated. All right, let's jump to committee member reports. We'll start with, Pete. Mildred. Christina.
I have something unusual to bring up. It's not really, rec focused, but it is something that, if anybody has older, kids in high school, the Legion, we do something called Boys State every year, and it's boys go away and they do this special class. It's almost like a debate, and they learn different things, and they only select a couple of students that are eligible for this. Sorry if I'm a little ignorant on the topic, because it is Boys State and it is run by the males. But they do go to the school. They do try to get, the last couple of years we haven't really had much of a turnout. So even if you don't have anybody now, If you have any interest in military or your children or family members that might be interested in participating in this, you know, the Legion pays for it. It's a great program. It teaches them, you know, going back and forth. They actually like form their own little city and the government, and they elect officials, and they basically like run a mock town, but it starts from the ground up, and it's pretty interesting. There is a girls' state, but it's not as well run as the boys' state. So it's great for resumes on college. I am trying to get our Legion more relevant with younger members. So, you know, if anybody that you know of is in the military or veteran, please point them in my direction, because, you know, we have a post right here. Even though it's not in the borough, it's in the township, it still supports our community. So I'm just trying to bridge the gap there. I'm the youngest member. Oh no, we have one member younger than me. So.
Well, if you need someone to speak and support, you know, to the children about Boy State, I can get our assembly, Brian Bergen.
I'm friendly with him, yeah.
Yep, so
Yeah,
he came up through the Boy State organization before he went to West Point.
See? Yep, and now look at,
And
yeah.
he's always thrilled to talk about this stuff, so.
Yeah,
Really?
so and it's high school level, so that's just it.
Yep.
But it might not
Do you know
be.
the minimum age?
I always forget if you can't be a senior or if you can be, I always confuse the years. But I know that it's like a high school age, cause they go away, I forget what college they go to, they stay for like, I forget how many days. And Brian's great, he's wonderful at like speaking and explaining all of it, as you all know, so, yeah.
Good to know, thank
It's
you.
just I don't know.
Yeah. You know, you never know, you know, some of our rec boys, you know, that might be something they may be interested, so
Yeah.
I can bring that up, with some of the older division teams, so, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, do you have anything?
Just to shout out to the junior knights, Liam's been doing the wrestling there, and they have a now program.
It's
And he's
awesome.
been running, you know, the JV team there. It's incredible volunteers they get to come out and people help out. It's a great experience.
That's awesome, it's awesome to hear that program, not only junior but nights wrestling, but also football is starting to really grow. They've done a good job at kind of reshaping that whole thing, and junior nights cheerleading as well. They've done a really good job, got some good people involved in those programs, and I'm happy to hear that, so thank you. John?
Not too much. I checked in with the basketball folks. They said the big season's going well, had good numbers. Learning a lot, but they haven't reached out to Kevin much, so they've been doing a good job.
Yeah, I did speak to them. We had a very minor incident, that was brought to my attention at Thomas Jefferson. And we kind of, we take a step back. For those who've been around a long time, we know that the incidences with rec basketball and TJ, they're far more, I guess, more egregious years ago, when we had, you know, kids running through the halls and all sorts of stuff, and we really took a lot of steps to fix it, and I think none of that is a problem now. But, you know, there was a minor issue. I did bring it up with them, and it was solved, you know, within seconds, so, other than that, no complaints. The problem we have right now is one of the problems is, and I get it to an extent, that with all the salt out here, the school, you know, basically wants rec to be mindful of their shoes. In other words, please don't wear the shoes that you're tracking in the salt from outside.
Yeah.
Inside, bring a different pair of shoes, or do what you have to do. So that's something that, you know, is an ongoing thing. I did send a reminder to everybody that's using that facility to just be mindful of that, and, you know, make sure.
They just got their floors.
They just got their floors refinished, so, you know, that's all. Again, it hasn't become a huge issue, but just something to keep in mind, and throwing garbage away and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, I think it's going well so far for the first year, and
Yeah.
it's great numbers again, so.
Yeah, and a lot of young, you know, folks that are helping out.
Yeah.
So they can be there for a few years.
Yeah, that's good, and thank you again for your
Oh, yeah.
service and picking up that slack for 3 years?
Just
2 years.
Just two.
It was kind of 3, because you were transitioning.
Yeah, 2.5.
all of them spoke, but it was nice to see them there, just come and support with our checks
Excellent.
at the last minute, so.
Thank you. Councilman McDonald.
Yes, just a couple things. Again, I think it was, that signed up again this year is Christina, Rosalie, and John. Thank you for doing that. To echo what Rob said, that, thank you for everything you guys do. It's a lot of work between the spectacular and the Christmas tree lighting. Amazing, you guys do an amazing job, and we hear nothing about it, like all things from the public, and so just great job. And also, I think our budget meeting starts this Saturday, and recreation's up, so Rob will be there over the small cap and large cap budget items. So, and thank you for everything.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Mayor, do you have anything to say?
Just to echo, thank you all for what you do and supporting the borough and being part of this committee. It's one of the things I came up on, before I was mayor, before I was a councilman, part of the rec committee, and I think, I don't know, it was last year I walked into a Rutgers, were you teaching at Rutgers course when I walked in?
Yes, you were.
I came
You did,
into
yes.
the office to get something, and all of a sudden, these young guys, it just clicked, this is where it all started,
It's true.
But anyway, it means a lot to the kids, and it's really great, to this day, the kids that I was involved with years ago, I still see them, they still call me out, they still everything, so it's very rewarding, so thank you for doing this.
And for those of you who don't know, like, the mayor actually, so he was the president of baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he started, your first committee was rec committee, right?
It
When you
was.
were rec committee liaison, so he's, it's a family to him, we were a family. So it's nice having, someone in Pat as well too, that both these governing body members understand kind of what we're doing and what we go through and all the work that's put in, and cause they've been there, they've done it. Although, rules and regulations change and things change throughout the years, they have a good understanding of kind of what you guys do, so it's nice to have. With that being said, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Christina Scalzo.
Second?
Um,
Either one of us.
All in favor?